Good morning, dear listeners. Welcome to our online lesson. Today, our theme is degrees of comparison. And today, we are going to talk about degrees of comparison and how to form comparative and superlative adjectives. And first of all, what is an adjective? An adjective is a part of speech that describes a person, an object, a place, and an animal. For example, a tall man, a hot coffee, old people, a smart TV, a long road, a big house. Comparative adjectives. Comparative adjectives are used to compare differences between two objects. They modify larger, smaller, faster, higher. They are used in sentences where two nouns are compared. In this pattern, now plus verb plus comparative adjective plus than plus object. For example, my house is larger than yours. This box is smaller than that one. Your dog runs faster than Jim's dog. The rock flew higher than the roof. And the superlative adjectives. Superlative adjectives are used to describe an object which is at the upper or lower limit of a quality. The largest, the smallest, the fastest. They are used in sentences where a subject is compared to a group of objects. For example, my house is largest on in our neighborhood. This is the smallest box I've ever seen. Your dog runs faster of any dogs in the race. So, forming regular comparatives and superlatives. Forming comparatives and superlatives are easy. Let's look at the table, comparison of adjectives. The comparisons of adjectives depends on the syllable in original adjectives. So look at one syllable adjectives. Long, cold, big. We add er to the comparative adjectives. For example, and for the superlative adjectives, we add est. Long, longer than, the longest. Next, cold, colder than, the coldest. So if we have the adjective with consonant plus vowel plus consonant spelling, we doubled the last letter, as in an example with big, big, bigger than, the biggest. Next, two syllables. Adjectives with two syllables can form the comparatives either by adding er and by preceding the adjectives with more. And the superlative adjectives are made by adding the ending es and by preceding the most. So, for example, modern, more modern than, the most modern. Happy, happier than, the happiest. And if we have the ending y, we have to change the y to an I and then add ending For example, busy, busier than, the busiest. Next, three or more syllables. For adjectives with three and more syllables, we put the words more for comparatives and most for superlative adjectives. So, for example, expensive, more expensive than, the most expensive. Interesting, more interesting than, the most interesting. Important, more important than, the most important. Now let's look at the examples. The weather in Spain is cold. In Russia it is colder. In Arctic it is the coldest. Next, this house is big. This one is bigger, and that one is the biggest. My hair is longer than your hair. Mac's story is the longest story I've ever heard. So also we have irregular comparatives and superlatives. So these common adjectives have completely irregular comparative and superlatives. Let's have a look at words, at adjectives. Good, better than, the best. Bad, worse, the worst. Much, many, more, the most. Little, less, the least. Far, farther, the farthest. So also look at examples. Today is the best day I've had in a long time. She plays tennis better than her brother does. This is the least expensive shoes in the store. This dress is less expensive than that one. I ran pretty far yesterday, but I ran even farther today. So let's practice with exercises. The first task, fill in with the comparative and superlative adjectives. For example, tall, taller than, the tallest. Next, careful, more careful, the most careful. Yes. Now let's check. Look at the answers. Cheap, cheaper, the cheapest. Fat, fatter, the fattest. Interesting, more interesting, the most interesting. Modern, more modern, the most modern. Nice, nicer, the nicest. Fast, faster, the fastest. Popular, more popular, most popular. Next task, fill in with adjectives. Okay, now let's check. Big. Next, comparative adjective, bigger, and superlative, the biggest, right? So next, the word expensive, comparative, more expensive, superlative, the most expensive. Next adjective is hot, comparative, hotter, and superlative, the hottest. Next, cold, comparative, colder, and superlative, the coldest. Next adjective, fat, fatter, the fattest. Next, late, later, the latest. Small, smaller, the smallest. Okay, well done. So now look at the next task. Complete the sentences. Ben's bag is than John's. The Ben's bag is heavier than John's. Yes. Next, the lady is more beautiful than the granny. Ben's shoes are older than John's. Next, pink towel is cleaner than the white towel. Ben is noisier than Peter. Mike's book is more interesting than John's book. So I hope the lesson was useful for you, and thank you for your watching. See you next time. Bye.